Narrator, Ray's Bar and Grill, Cleveland, Ohio, 2024. A Thursday night. Slow. 5 customers nursing beers at scattered tables. The television mounted above the bar plays an old Mike Tyson fight on ESPN Classic. Nobody's really watching. They've all seen it before. Tyson destroying some opponent whose name nobody remembers anymore. Behind the bar, a man in his late 50s wipes down glasses with methodical precision. Ray Thompson. Thick forearms that speak to years of physical labor. Scarred knuckles on both hands. The kind of hands that tell stories their owner won't. The hands of a fighter who never quite made it. The walls are decorated with old boxing photos. Faded black and white images in cheap frames. Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Sugar Ray Leonard. And, tucked in the corner, smaller than the rest, a young man in boxing trunks and gloves. The same scarred knuckles, the same thick forearms, but the eyes are different, hungry, hopeful. A young couple sits at the bar, out-of-towners, mid-20s, the kind who stumbled in looking for something authentic, something real. The man notices the photos, studies them with the casual interest of someone who's never been punched in the face. Young man. You a boxing fan? Ray not looking up, still wiping. Used to be more than a fan. Young man. You fight? Ray slight smile, the kind that doesn't reach his eyes. Yeah, long time ago. Different life. Young woman. Were you any good? Narrator. Ray stops wiping the glass, sets it down carefully, looks up at the television. Mike Tyson is destroying another opponent. The commentators are breathless with excitement, calling Tyson unstoppable, invincible, just like they always did. Ray. I was good enough to knock down Mike Tyson. Narrator. The couple exchanges a glance, the kind that says, this guy is full of it. The kind Ray has seen 1,000 times in 35 years. He doesn't blame them. He wouldn't believe it either. Young man. Humoring him. Really? You fought Mike Tyson? Ray. Sparred him. 1,989. Catskill. Gym. I dropped him in the second round. Broke his nose. Made him bleed. Only time anyone ever did that. In that gym. Young woman. Skeptical. If that's true, why isn't there any record of it? Why aren't you famous? Narrator. Ray picks up another glass. Starts wiping. The same motion he's done 10,000 times since he stopped fighting. Ray. Because some victories don't make it into the history books. Some punches land in the dark. And some men spend the rest of their lives wondering what would have happened if someone had been watching. Narrator. August 1989. The story Ray never tells. Not completely. Ray Thompson was 23 years old. Professional record 14 wins, 2 losses, 8 knockouts. Not elite, but solid. Good enough to be called up to Catskill to spar with the baddest man on the planet. Mike Tyson was 23 too. But while Ray was grinding through small clubs in Ohio, Mike was conquering the world. 37 wins, 33 knockouts. Undisputed heavyweight champion. The call came on a Tuesday. Kevin Rooney, Tyson's trainer, on phone. We need a sparring partner. Someone who can move. Someone who can take a punch. You interested? Ray, barely believing. You want me to spar with Mike Tyson? Rooney. 3 rounds. $500. Cash. But there's rules. No cameras. No press. What happens in the gym stays in the gym. And if you last 3 rounds without embarrassing yourself, maybe we call you again. Narrator. $500 was more than Ray made in a month at the factory. But it wasn't about the money. Not really. It was about the chance to step into the ring with greatness. To test himself against the best. He said yes. Narrator. The Catskill gym was smaller than Ray expected. Old. Dark. The kind of place where champions were made in silence. No tourists. No interviews. Just the smell of sweat and leather. Ray arrived at 6 a.m. Early. But Mike was already there, hitting the heavy bag, each punch sounding like a gunshot. Ray watched from the doorway, mesmerized, terrified. Rooney walking over. You Thompson? Ray. Yes, sir. Rooney. You know the rules? Ray. No cameras. No press. What happens here stays here. Rooney. Good. And one more thing. Don't hold back. Mike doesn't respect anyone who doesn't come to fight. You try to survive, you'll get hurt worse. You come to win, maybe you get out clean. Ray. Come to win against Mike Tyson? Rooney. Dead serious. That's the job. Now wrap your hands. We start in 10. Narrator. Ray's hands shook as he wrapped them. This was insane. He was about to spar with Mike Tyson, the man who knocked out Michael Spinks in 91 seconds. What was Ray supposed to do? Survive? Win? Mike calling from across the gym. You the new guy? Ray. Turnin'. Yeah. Ray Thompson. Narrator. Mike walked over. Up close, he looked smaller than on television, but his presence filled the room. His eyes were flat, predatory. Mike. You scared? Ray lying. No. Mike. Slight smile. You should be. Narrator. Round 1. The bell rang. Mike came forward like a storm. Ray had studied the tapes. He knew the peek, Abu style, the head movement, the explosive combinations. But watching tape was nothing like standing across from it. Mike threw a jab. Ray slipped it. Barely. Felt the wind from the punch. Another jab. Ray slipped again. Then the left hook. Ray didn't see it until it was too late. It hit his ribs like a sledgehammer. His knees buckled. He heard Kevin Rooney laughing. Rooney. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. Narrator. Ray circled. Tried to use his reach. Tried to jab and move. But Mike was everywhere, cutting off the ring, making the space smaller, suffocating. Mike landed another body shot, then an uppercut that Ray barely rolled away from. 1 minute felt like 10. The bell rang. Ray stumbled to his corner. His ribs screamed. His legs were jelly. Rooney. You're doing okay. Better than most. But you're fighting scared. Second round, you either commit or you quit. Ray gasped. What do you mean, commit? Rooney. You're a counterpuncher, right? That's what your record says. So, counter. Make him respect you. Or, this is going to be a long morning. Narrator. Round 2. Ray came out different. He'd already been hurt. Already tasted Mike's power. Already felt what it was like to be on the receiving end of punches that could end careers. The fear was still there, coiled in his stomach like a snake. But under it was something else. Something deeper. Anger, pride, stubbornness. The voice in his head that said, you belong here. You earned this moment. Mike pressed forward, same as round 1. Relentless, inevitable. But this time, when he threw the jab, Ray didn't just slip it. He countered. Right hand over the top. Clean. Technical. Perfect. It landed flush on Mike's jaw. The gym went silent. Not just quiet. Silent. Like someone had hit a mute button on reality. The cornermen stopped talking. The other sparring partners stopped moving. Even the sound of the speed bag in the far corner seemed to fade away. Mike stopped mid-stride, touched his face with his glove, looked at Ray like seeing him for the first time. Really seeing him. Mike voiced different. Curious. Oh, you got a punch. Narrator. They came together again. Mike threw a combination. 1, 2, 3. Hook straight uppercut. Ray had seen this combination on tape 100 times. He knew it was coming. Blocked the first 2 punches. Hard leather against his gloves, sending shockwaves up his arms. Slipped the third by millimeters. And in that half-second window where Mike was extended, off balance, committed to the uppercut that Ray had avoided, Ray saw it. The opening. The target. Mike's nose. Ray threw an overhand right, put everything behind it. Every morning roadwork, every bag session, every bit of anger at being nobody, at fighting in small clubs for small money, at being good but never good enough. The punch traveled maybe 10 inches. It caught Mike flush on the nose. The sound was sickening. Distinct. Cartilage crunching. Bone shifting. The wet crack of something breaking. Mike's head snapped back violently. Blood exploded from his nostrils. Bright arterial red against his black skin, spraying across both of them. Across the canvas. Mike stumbled backward. 3 steps. His legs wobbled. His eyes went unfocused for just a second, maybe less, but Ray saw it. That moment of confusion, of hurt, of vulnerability. Mike Tyson looked human. Ray stood there, frozen, his right hand still extended. Mike's blood on his glove, glistening. Undeniable. He'd just broken Mike Tyson's nose. In sparring. In the gym where legends were made and myths were protected. What had he done? Rooney, jumping into the ring. Time. Time out. Narrator. Kevin Rooney rushed to Mike, tilted his head back, checked the damage. Mike was breathing through his mouth, blood running down his chin, dripping onto his chest. But his eyes were on Ray. And they weren't hurt anymore. They were furious. Mike's voice muffled, nasal. That was a good punch. Ray, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Mike, don't apologize. Never apologize for a good punch. Narrator. Rooney packed Mike's nose with gauze, stopped the bleeding. The break wasn't bad, not serious, but it was there, visible, real. Rooney, to Ray. You okay to finish the round? Ray. Yeah. If Mike is. Mike, pulling out the gauze, blood still trickling. Let's go. Narrator. They touched gloves. Resumed. But something had changed. Mike wasn't playing anymore. He came at Ray like a man possessed. The punches were faster, harder, meaner. Ray tried to move, tried to survive, but there was no surviving this. Mike landed a left hook that shut down Ray's liver, a right uppercut that made the world tilt. Ray went down, not knocked out, but down. The count started. Ray got to one knee, then both feet. The round had 30 seconds left. Mike, stalking forward, get up. We're not done. Narrator. Mike threw everything. Hooks, uppercuts, straight rights. Ray covered up. Survived. The bell rang. Ray collapsed on his stool. His corner was empty. No trainer, no cutman. Just him, and the knowledge that he'd just gone to war with Mike Tyson. Rooney. That's it. 3 rounds. You're done. Ray confused. We only did 2. Rooney. Trust me. You're done. Narrator. In the locker room, Ray sat alone. His ribs were probably cracked. His face was swelling. But he'd done it. 3 rounds with Mike Tyson. And he'd landed. More than landed. He'd hurt him. The door opened. Mike walked in. Face cleaned up. Nose swollen but bandaged. He sat down next to Ray. Mike. You fight again? Ray. I've got a fight next month. Cleveland. Mike. You should be fighting better competition. You've got the tools. Ray. I don't have the connections. The promoters. The team. Mike. You could. You drop my name. People will listen. Ray hopeful. Really? Narrator. Mike stood up, started to leave, then turned back. Mike. But here's the thing. What happened today? The nose? That doesn't leave this gym. Nobody hears about it. Nobody talks about it. You understand? Ray. Why? Mike. Because I'm Mike Tyson. I don't get hurt in sparring. I don't bleed in practice. The myth matters more than the truth. And if people hear that some nobody from Ohio broke my nose, it ruins the myth. Ray. I'm not a nobody. Mike cold. To the world, you are. And if you want to stay in this game, you'll keep your mouth shut. The $500 you're getting? That's not just for sparring. It's for silence. Narrator. Mike left. Ray sat there, understanding slowly. He'd just had the biggest moment of his boxing career, and he could never tell anyone. Narrator. Kevin Rooney came in 20 minutes later, handed Ray an envelope. $500. Cash. Rooney. Good work today. But we won't be calling you back. Ray. Why not? I did what you asked. I came to fight. Rooney. Exactly. You came to fight. And Mike doesn't want sparring partners who fight back that hard. He wants guys who make him look good. You made him look human. That's not what he needs. Ray. So I'm blackballed because I did too well? Rooney. Not unkindly. Welcome to boxing, kid. It's not about being good. It's about being useful. Narrator. Back at Ray's Bar and Grill. 2024. The young couple is still listening. Not sure if they believe him, but interested. Young man. So what happened after that? Did you use his name? Did you get better fights? Ray, shaking his head. I tried. Called promoters. Said I'd sparred with Tyson. They all said the same thing. We'll get back to you. They never did. 6 months later, I blew out my shoulder. Needed surgery. Couldn't afford it. By the time I got it fixed, I was 25. Too old to start climbing again. Young woman, do you regret it? Staying quiet? Ray. Every day. I could have told the story, made myself famous. The guy who broke Mike Tyson's nose. It would have meant something. Opened doors. But I kept my word. And Mike kept his. He never mentioned it either. Young man, does he even remember you? Ray quiet. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I was just another sparring partner. Another body to practice on. But for me, that day was everything. That punch was the best thing I ever did in a ring. And nobody saw it. Narrator. The couple finishes their drinks, leaves a tip, walks out. Ray watches them go through the window, laughing. Probably about the crazy bartender who thinks he beat Mike Tyson. He doesn't blame them. It sounds crazy, but it's also true. Ray turns off the television, wipes down the bar. In a few hours, he'll close up, go home, do it all again tomorrow. He's made peace with it, mostly. The anonymity, the what-ifs. The knowledge that he once stood in the ring with the greatest fighter of his generation and held his own. Nobody believes him. Nobody ever will. There's no footage, no witnesses willing to talk, just the memory, the feeling of that punch landing, the sight of Mike Tyson's blood on his gloves. Some victories happen in the light. Championships, titles, glory. Others happen in the dark, in gyms where cameras aren't allowed, in moments that only two people remember. Ray Thompson broke Mike Tyson's nose, and for 35 years, almost nobody knew, until now. This is Iron Mike Chronicles.